Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z,
And I'm Keith.
and we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead and start recording this episode. Let's go ahead and talk about this film. I'm ready to talk about this film whenever you are. Why aren't you talking?
Barton Fink.
What'd you think?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was wanting to, my back hurt, so I wanted to get a little stoned for it, but I didn't want to. I was so worried I was going to get sleepy. So I didn't want to do it too soon in the movie, and then I just forgot until the end. And because I was riveted. It was not what I was expecting. I mean, I guess it falls in line with a Coen Brothers movie, but I feel like they don't all feel the same.
Yeah.
For me. They're not all I don't know. I think when they rely too heavily on the comedy aspect, I can find them to be really uninteresting or just over the top and not as, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just like I'm not as interested in them.
Yeah.
Because I do like Fargo, but I think Fargo is like definitely a darker one. Like it does have comedy aspects, but it's definitely one of the darker.
Well, no, and if I remember, it's been a while since I've seen Raising Arizona.
Yeah, that one's fine.
Which is more intentionally comedic, I think.
Yes.
But I think it also, I'm guessing, again, this is not, Raising Arizona I've seen a few times, but again, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. I've seen this one the most. I have watched Miller's Crossing.
I have never seen Miller's Crossing.
I've seen Miller's Crossing. I did watch Blood Simple. I remember almost nothing about it. That's their first one. Mm-hmm. Miller's Crossing was before this? No, I guess they started work. I don't know when it got produced, but they started
Miller's
working
Crossing was in like 87 or something like that.
I saw the Hudsucker Proxy, which I think is the one after this.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I've seen that. Man, they've done a lot of movies.
They've made a lot of films. Fargo, which I forget because it was so big. That's the one that sort of broke them on the mainstream, I feel like.
Yeah.
I only watched that once. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? I did watch.
I've seen that one, yeah.
Did not think much of it.
Yeah, same.
Burn After Reading.
Seen that, yeah.
I did watch A Simple Man.
Yes, we've seen that together.
Really? Together?
Yes, you made me watch it because you wanted me to see it.
No, that's A Single Man. Remember?
What did you say?
Simple.
Oh. What's a simple...
What?
What's A Simple Man?
It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, but what's it about? Who's in it? What is it? I'm sorry.
Do you remember when we were doing the preview for this month and we're saying all the movies that aren't?
No, I don't.
A Single Man, A Simple Plan, Simple Men.
A Simple Man. A Simple Man? That's what it's called? Okay. One more time. Oh, I have no idea. Okay. Never seen it. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, I remember nothing about
It's
it.
from 2020, so no wonder I don't know anything about it.
Oh. No, that's not what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of A Serious Man. Sorry. 2009.
A Serious Man.
I have not seen Buster Scruggs or fucking Llewellyn Davis. And no desire.
Oh, I've never seen A Serious Man. You've never seen what?
Ballad of Buster Scruggs or Inside Llewellyn Davis.
Oh,
I haven't watched
God.
either of those.
Inside Llewellyn Davis. That's one. I think that one is one that we showed at the theater.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, God. I did not give a shit. Everyone was duking their britches
I
over
remember.
fucking Oscar Isaac being...
Oh, and then they did that remake of True Grit. Oh, No Country. I forget that.
Oh, yeah, No Country for Old Men. That was a good one. But see, that's another one where it's like, it's a lot darker. Like that one.
Yes, right. It's more just kind of
Yeah.
noir almost.
Yeah.
Not aesthetically necessarily, but just...
No, and how it's told. Yeah. Yeah, and I love the ending of that one. That one's so like...
How's it end?
It just ends with like Tommy Lee Jones saying some...
To
And then
Barry
it
Corbin.
just- Yeah, or something, and then it just shows the outside, and then it's... I love shit like that. I'm such a sucker for that kind of shit, where it's like
Yeah.
a definite ending, but like also really weird, and you're just like...
Well, this is the thing, watching this movie, and I remembered that because this movie made such an impact on me when I saw it in the 90s, that when the Hudsucker Proxy came out and I knew it was the same people, I was very excited. And I'm pretty sure I saw it in a theater, and I was so disappointed. I was so
Right.
angry. And if I recall, I haven't seen it since 1994 or whatever,
Yeah.
because I was so pissed off. I believe it ends with a literal Deus Ex Machina. Like,
Yeah.
I think he jumps out a window and then he's stopped inches from the ground, like a Warner Brothers cartoon style.
Oh my God.
And brought back up.
Oh, I love it.
It enraged me. So, and then I thought about, last summer when we had Floto on to talk about Hartley and him saying, like, rewatching the Coen Brothers films that he's like, they're not that great.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't know how to end films.
Yeah, that's something that I'm always like, about, because
And so they opt. I'm not saying this is a good way around it, but to leave it ambiguous or to,
Yeah. Right.
Remember how Cruising ended?
Oh God.
Just a shot of the bay or whatever.
It's terrible.
Anyway, and I watched some things. Anyway, before I go on my.
I actually did watch one of the things that you sent me, but only one of them.
Oh, which one?
The one where it was talking about how this is a terrifying movie or whatever.
Oh, good. Of the
yeah.
ones I sent, that's.
Yeah. I just was like, Keith drank wine after we watched the movie last night, and then it's just
Started sending links. I started link bombing.
yeah. I woke up in the middle of the night to like messages on my phone where Keith was just sending, and I'm like, girl,
I know.
I always feel bad because
Well, I knew to put I knew just links wasn't going to do it, so that's why I gave a description of that one.
oh, you did? I didn't read it.
Well, the one that you watched.
I didn't read it.
Oh.
I didn't know that there was a
I said
description.
an interesting. Frames it as focuses on
So
catastrophic thinking.
Here's the thing. No, this is
Fat.
in Signal. Look here, fat.
Look, Fat, look, here's the deal.
Signal, when you send a message in a link, like with a link,
Oh, I know. It just
It gives-
puts it as one text.
it gives you, so I a lot of times don't. It
Clock
takes a
that
lot.
it's-
Yeah.
yeah.
So sorry about that.
Well,
I
never
did
mind
not.
then.
Yeah, when this film first started playing, it's like I was a little bit worried that it was going to be more reminiscent of like the producers, you know?
Oh yeah,
Kind of like
totally.
you know, what do you call like not folie à deux, but
I don't know that term.
right? It's too
Maybe.
I don't know. It's not that, but it's like when bad things happen. I don't know what it's called.
Oh.
It's called something.
Comedy of errors.
Yes, thank you. A comedy of errors. Yeah, I think folie à deux is just a film or something. So I thought it was going to be like that. It was going to be more like, you know, things are happening. He's sort of just like, and truthfully, I know like in the lobby, you said that there was like a murder and that, you know, things like that. I didn't think it was going to be so direct, and I'd forgotten about that. And when it happened, I was like, holy shit. I didn't see this coming at all. And then I was like, Keith even said that was going to happen, and I didn't remember it. But, you know, at first I was a little bit like, I was a little bit worried because I was like, oh man, a whole movie of him struggling to write. I don't know if I want to see that. That's too close to home for me.
Right.
But visually, it was insane. This movie
Still, this is the thing I'm happy to report. Like, there was things I did not remember about it. It looked exactly how I remembered it.
Yeah.
But just the hotel in specific is such a world.
Yeah.
It's so immersive.
It is, yeah.
The thing that I did not remember that probably at that age I didn't understand, having not experienced it probably. The sound every time his door opens and closes,
oh my God.
really.
Yeah.
And that's because it's drafty. Like,
Yeah.
Those buildings, those old-ass buildings have that. Like, you know, just the fact that the elevator's going up and down is going to create a vacuum.
And also, like, how, like, I both... It was immersive, but I also do dislike this and don't enjoy it in movies. But it was done so well and so believably how hot they were.
Yeah.
I literally had to make you stop the movie in the middle, and I was like,
shower.
I have to shower.
That's right.
Because I was like watching it, and I was like, I cleaned a bunch, and like I didn't get like really sweaty, but I don't. My skin will sometimes get like real itchy if like things touch my skin, and I was so itchy, and I'm like seeing them sweat, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so disgusted. I'm like, I have to fucking shower. I'm like, I cannot sit through this movie any longer and not shower. I can feel my skin. Like, I was like, can you stop so I can shower? So we like stopped the movie halfway.
We had a little intermission.
We had to have a little shower intermission for me. They were so sweaty. Oh God. And the scene, I mean, this is jumping ahead a bit, but the scene where he has this big stream that falls down his face, and he's like, oh, I'm leaking again, and puts a cotton ball in his ear. I was like, oh my God. So gross.
Yeah, if you have, I forget what it's called, but if you can't handle people puking.
Yeah. Emetophobia or whatever.
Okay. Probably not the film for you.
Well, I will say
you don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see it. You just hear it.
You hear quite a bit of it.
Yeah, you hear a lot of it. I don't have emetophobia. I think puking is funny. If done in the right circumstances. There's this one video of this guy standing outside, and he just does a spin. Pukes in a circle, and it's so fucking funny to me. It's so funny. I could watch that 100 times. It's so funny. There's also this video of this guy singing the theme to Adventure Time on like a ukulele, and when he gets to the end, he's like, and just pukes.
Remember the guy who, like, pioneered the birds aren't real thing?
I don't know.
He got asked to be on some news show, and he's like,
oh yeah, and he was like puking. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's like, sorry, I don't usually do things like this, so I'm nervous.
I feel like it was very.
He just like took a sip of coffee.
It was. I felt like it was very. Yeah, whatever. I feel like he was faking it.
Maybe.
That's just my feelings. But that's just me. Anyway, it's a pretty simplistic storyline, like
I guess, yeah.
is essentially like John Turturro plays. I do love John Turturro. I'm watching it and I'm like,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
like, yep.
I realized too, there's something about that first scene of him where he's holding the playbill or whatever, and he's backstage.
Yeah.
To me, that's
Girl, calm down.
that's how I always think of him. I
Yeah.
don't know why. That's probably because it's a movie, obviously, but like, what is that? I don't think I could reproduce.
Yeah. How he's holding. Yeah. It's funny because I like as soon as the movie started, I was like, I could hear John Turturro's voice, and I was like, is he? I was like, I thought he was supposed to be the playwright. I didn't know he was supposed to be one of the actors. And then it
Wasn't him?
No, it's his voice.
Oh,
But it's not supposed to be the same character.
I
I'm
see.
like, I don't understand that.
Uncle Dave said it. Daylight is a dream if you lived with your eyes closed. Well, my eyes are open now.
It's supposed to be one of the stage actors.
I see.
I'm like, why would you use? It doesn't have he's got a very distinct voice, I feel. So I was like, that's whatever. I guess if you're unfamiliar with him, you wouldn't really notice at first, but
which not many people would have been.
yeah, probably. I love his little,
It was probably done pretty last minute too.
yeah, maybe. His little crooked jaw that he has.
I know. And his fucked up teeth.
Yeah, love it.
But yeah, the crooked.
And it's honestly the fact that he's
Him and Buscemi, I'm like, more power to you, brothers.
Yeah.
You weird ass looking.
yeah.
Although I did listen to a thing. Buscemi talking about working with Coen Brothers, but he was talking about Fargo and how the script called his character funny looking. And he was saying like, I don't know, so what are you guys thinking? Should I do like a prosthetic nose or what? And they were like, oh. He's like, oh, okay. All right. I'm just funny looking.
I mean, had he ever looked in the mirror? I mean, I don't mean this. We know I'm only attracted to the uggos. Like, I don't like.
Thank you.
I don't like them. I don't like them too, pretty. That's just weird. But,
Thank you.
Hi,
how are you?
but like, he can't look at those eyes and those teeth and think this is what the population looks
Well,
like.
I think it's probably the fact that they had worked
I guess.
together and never had his characters been written that way, or described. You know what I'm saying?
They were like, we thought we would just stop pretending.
Here's a selling point for Miller's Crossing that I didn't know because I didn't know at the time.
Martin Donovan's in it?
Gabriel Byrne.
Oh, shit. Gabriel Byrne has been in a Miller's Crossing. See,
He's been in the Miller's Crossing.
Coen Brothers.
At least one.
Coen Brothers. I hate myself. Was he in two Miller's Crossing? Who was I saying? I can't remember who it was, but I kept pluralizing their names. I don't remember. It was someone. Oh, fuck! I don't remember. Anyway, whatever. You're like, yeah. John Turturro just plays like a playwright who's having like mild success or whatever. I don't know.
He's had one play.
He had.
It's also unclear if is it Broadway?
Yeah, I'm assuming it is. Yeah, but here's what I find confusing.
Here's the thing, Fat.
Look here, Fat. God. Anyway, sorry. When he's talking about the critics, he's saying like when they're talking about how he did so good, and he's like, all I can think of is the critics but like every review seemingly is good. So I'm like, is he talking about past works?
I don't remember
he's
saying
done?
that.
Yeah, he says like all he can think about is the critics.
I thought he said he couldn't think about the critics.
Oh, well, whatever. Insert clip here, and one of us will be proved wrong or right. Or neither.
All right, but I can't start listening to the critics, and I can't kid myself about my own work.
He gets offered a job in Hollywood for $1,000 a week, which I feel like even now that's a crazy amount of money. Did they say they said 1,000 a week, or did they say 1,000 a month? It was 1,000 a week. I don't recall. Right? Anyway, whatever.
Barton, Capitol Pictures wants to put you under contract. They've offered you $1,000 a week. I think I can get them to go as high as 2.
That's a crazy amount of money.
That's a crazy amount of money.
And it's set in 1941. I forgot to say that.
Yes, I was wrong. I said 50s.
Yeah. So he goes there. Like his biggest deterrent is that he's basically wanting to write things that are more about like the common man and more relatable stuff, and thinks that like there, for lack of a better word, there shouldn't be a separation of art from working class people, basically. Like art should cater to them as much as anyone else, and things like that, which I think is I think that's a very interesting sort of drive for a character, So he was he doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to he feels like Hollywood is the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
But he ends up going, and then he gets asked to write a movie that he doesn't know anything about, like a wrestling picture or whatever.
Yeah.
And
apparently Wallace Beery was a real person.
Yeah. Who was so he ends
He doesn't go to the movies. He doesn't understand the genre. Yeah, or cinema in general.
He doesn't know anything about wrestling. All this stuff.
Yeah.
But he's still being asked, and he doesn't know how to do it, and it's basically him struggling, and then the characters he meets along the way on his struggle. And it was a really, I don't know. There was just, it was.
Apparently Mayhew is somewhat based on William Faulkner.
Oh, yeah. John Mahoney.
Yeah.
Love him.
Amazing.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Man. That's the thing that I'm like so fucking sad about. I'm like, man, Mahoney, I don't know. I guess because of Frasier and he, Oh. Like here. Oh, man. Anyway. Yeah, I guess because he was Frasier's dad or whatever. Like, there's just something about him that I'm like...
I love this role because you get to see...
Yeah.
I mean, he's the dad in fucking Say Anything, and then he was Marty Crane for 18 seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's, for me, mostly a fatherly role figure, so...
Yeah.
Exciting to see him as an abusive alcoholic.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayhew is indisposed at the moment.
Where's Mahoney?
Is he, is he okay?
He'll be fine.
Where's Mahoney?
Oh, my God.
Which apparently was not him.
Yeah. It was the throat goat or whatever.
Yeah.
This is an interesting thing.
Nancy Reagan?
Yeah. Right. Oh, man. Okay. So, John Goodman plays Charlie Meadows, who is John Turturro, Barton Fink's sort of like next door neighbor at the hotel that he's staying at in Hollywood.
The Hotel Earl.
And after he complains about, like, he hears a noise. He hears
like
noise.
Sobbing.
Yeah, it sounds. I thought it was laughter, and you said it was sobbing. And then in the thing I watched, it said a confusing sound between laughter and sobbing. So I guess we're not supposed to necessarily know which it is. He complains, and then instead of like...
He calls Chet.
Yeah, he calls Chet, and he's just like, can you do something about the noise? And then Chet clearly calls the other guy.
You hear the phone ring.
Yeah, and he answers it.
What?
And then he... Yeah. And then he comes out, and he knocks on Barton
See,
Fink's
so much
door.
of it is auditory.
Yeah. There's a
Which,
lot
of course,
well, it's a very, there's a lot of auditory, but there's a lot of visual stuff too. Like the
Absolutely,
wallpaper peeling, and just like when he's in his chair, the scene where he's in his chair, just like looking up, that's insane. Like there's just shit that's like the tile on the wall being dirty, like all this stuff that, like when he picks his pencil up off of the paper and it's just dust all around
dust
it.
outline,
Fuck, like shit like that was so like immersive. Anyway, as Mahoney's character has a girlfriend who is basically doing all his writing for him, or has done most of his writing for him, and she ends up sleeping with Turturro, and then he wakes up next to her dead body. And John Goodman's character basically like disposes of the body for him and like helps him like not get caught, because John Turturro is like, I didn't do this. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how this happened. I just woke up like this. And it's like not much later revealed that Charlie Meadows is actually Carl Munt. Munt? Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna get my glasses from us.
Madman Munt. Madman Mo.
So I actually thought this was very interesting. Carl E. Munt was also the name of a U.S. representative who became vice chairman of the House of Un-American Activity, or House Un-American Activity. I don't know, whatever. Un-American
HUAC.
Activities Committee, beginning in the late 1940s. HUAC destroyed the livelihoods of screenwriters, actors, directors, producers, and anyone else who was accused of having socialist, i.e. communist leanings, as Barton Fink clearly did in the film. The nickname Madman Munt recalls the flamboyant Los Angeles car dealer and TV pitchman, Madman Earl Muntz. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I don't know what that last part. What? Whatever. Anyway, oh, Madman Munt. Okay, I guess it's like a blending of the two. But cool. But I thought it was really interesting because Barton Fink is talking about wanting to do things that are like more socialist, which people love to be like socialism is bad because then, you know, and then they describe capitalism or whatever. Communism is bad because, and then they describe capitalism.
Communism is good. Christianity is stupid.
Give up. But yeah, like, I thought that was a really interesting thing, and kind of, I mean, whether they intended it or not, I was like, that feels like it's more, what do you call it? Like, because it's like, oh, is this hell? You know, is this like a depiction of hell? Is this a depiction? And I'm like, with something like that, I feel like it's more a representative, or it's more representative of how Hollywood can change you. Like, you're forced to give up these things. Women are literally discarded. Like, all these things are very literal interpretations of the things that Hollywood can make you do just to sell a picture, you know, and how it'll take someone in their uniqueness and literally say, like, we got you because you're unique and you're different and you do things differently. And then when
Yeah.
you try to do that, they're like, you piece of shit. What do you think you are, original and unique? And that was just, I don't know. I was like, oh, this adds, I feel like that sort of like him being that character, like named after that person who destroyed the lives of a lot of people who were trying to do any, like communism is not bad. Socialism is not bad inherently. Those things, of course, you can do those things and be a bad person, but like that's, one thing doesn't mean another, or like one thing's got nothing to do with the other, as Danny Aiello says in The Professional.
That's funny.
I really like that. That's something that I think is a really good.
Cradle Will Rock. Yeah. Okay. So.
Go ahead.
Have you seen this?
I don't know.
It's called Cradle Will Rock, 1999. It's Tim Robbins' joint. I think he's the one that. Yeah, wrote and directed it, but it's a somewhat fictionalized version of. I think it's set in the 30s. So a little bit before this. Mm-hmm. But it's got real life, it's got characters like Orson Welles and John Houseman, real people that were part of, like, for the brief moment in between wars when the U.S. had government-funded arts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it would have been the 30s because it was after the Depression. It was like part of the New Deal. Mm-hmm. And it follows, like, one of the people it follows is Max Blitzstein, who was inspired by and worked with, I think, Bertolt Brecht, who also was a German and anti-fascist, communist-leaning, who came to Hollywood and was interviewed by Huak.
Well,
I love to bring up Brecht, but...
you like to bring up what?
Bertolt Brecht.
Oh, yeah, you do.
That's who I'm speaking of. Anyway, and one of the characters in Cradle Will Rock is Max Blitzstein, I think he's actually maybe the ghost of Bertolt Brecht speaks to him or something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, whatever. A less fictionalized version of around the same time period depicting similar things.
Yeah.
That movie. So, it's a movie made in Hollywood.
Yeah. Right. About how bad.
But it's mostly about, that one's not really about films as it is about stage.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, but like it's an interesting, like, he literally sets, the Barton's home on fire. Like, he sets where he, like, he literally destroys everything. It's implied that he's the one that killed the girl he cared about. It's like all these things.
And Mayhew.
Yeah, all of these things that he's done, and he's, the embodiment essentially of this person who purposefully destroyed people's lives for the sake of, anti-communism, anti-socialist kind of bullshit. Anyway, I do love the scene when he asks Barton, he's like, is there anything I can do for you? And he's like, just be yourself. The way Turturro delivers that line where he's like, don't, just keep being who you are.
Well, and the repeated motif of, I could tell you some stories.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And that's the point.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's so fucking funny. It was, this movie had, he's like, what a son of a bitch, or like, what a piece of shit or something. And then he's like, of course he does wonderful work or whatever, after he hits his secretary or whatever, his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, God.
The truth, Mahoney, is a taunt that does not bear scrutiny. Preach my levy at your peril. Join all my friends.
Son of a bitch. That son of a bitch. Don't get me wrong, he's a fine writer.
I'm like, oh my God, God, it's so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny. Just and it's very there was a lot of like undertones of humor and a lot of like it was just really visual, and I don't think I was expecting how visual it was. The bird thing at the end though,
Oh yeah.
totally, that just happened. Like
Yeah.
oh my God, that's so fucking funny.
Yeah, which of course.
It's so fucking, oh man, it's so fucking funny. They kept it in. Yeah, if they hadn't, it would have been so stupid.
Yeah, I think I saw one video I watched. Somebody was talking about that, and that happened, and they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, we don't need to do any more takes. It's not going to get. There's no way."
So fucking funny.
I was really impressed, and then it turns out this was sort of a short, again, a thing that happened just because of lack of planning, sort of like. I remember at the time while watching it, I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting." The transition of the way we know he travels from New York to L.A. Mm-hmm. All we get is one scene of a wave hitting a rock on a beach, and then he's in the hotel lobby.
Yeah,
and like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so minimalist. Like not minimalist, but minimal. I really appreciate the efficiency of it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they had planned the trope of a dotted line over a map.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I hate that shit unless it's done comedically to show like how long it takes someone to get a very short distance or something.
Yeah.
When they're like going on, and that's funny. But like other than that, I'm like, please, do we have to do this?
No, I know. It was already a trope that was being quoted for almost as parody in Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? I know it's just Lucas and Spielberg making their childhood adventure
those fucking
shit that they watched, growing up, serials or whatever.
Those two. I do love that it's like in Indiana Jones, every time someone did something Nazi, they crossed their fingers so it wasn't true or something. I'm like, yep, okay.
Stopped it. Fortunately, we didn't revive fascism.
And that's how we got rid of fascism in the U.S. because Steven Spielberg made everybody cross their fingers. And today, that's why there's...
That's why I made Schindler's List.
Or maybe that's what it was. No, it was... Yeah, Schindler's List. What the fuck? Man, this is a thing that... This is taking things to the side. I did a little bit of a gummy, so I'm feeling a little loosey-goosey. Because my shit's rocked. Don't
look at me.
People love bringing up like World War II / the Holocaust about anything.
I know I do.
And it's one of those things where like it's not the worst thing it's actually not the worst thing that's ever happened in the world. And like other things have happened.
Uh-oh.
Right. And people specifically much worse has happened to black people. And
I don't know what you're talking about. Who?
And people will just be like, anyway, Hitler was the worst person in the world.
Yeah, but this happened in Europe to Jews in Europe.
To white people. And it's...
To Jews.
Yeah, it's just weird to me that is white people's one, like, that 9/11 keeps white people, like, they have enough energy to get up and go in the morning and be as hateful as they possibly can because of those two events. They're like, 9/11 happened so that I could hate Muslims and feel justified. And that's why it happened. Like, I don't know, man. It's so fucking...
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm not saying that it wasn't bad either. Like, that's the thing is like, it's just like, I've known for a long time that, and it was sort of shocking to find out that like it wasn't actually the worst thing that's happened even since it's happened. Like other things, other absolute atrocities have happened, and
Never again.
yeah, and people be like, never again. And I'm like, well, and people be like, never again. And then they are bombing children in Palestine because they're like, well, we're supposed to be here. Hashtag never again. And I'm like, but you're doing it. You're doing it and saying never again. And it's like, but they're brown. So it's fine. Anyway, I don't really understand.
You do.
No, I mean, I don't understand.
You're demonstrating that you do.
Well, I know. But what I mean is I don't understand why it's always presented as like, one, a problem that's been taken care of, and a thing that can't and hasn't ever happened again. And it's like,
It definitely isn't happening right now.
right, exactly. Like, I'm like, why, what? I don't understand. Like, it's like a thing, because it's not, I understand people are racist. This is not that. That's not something that I'm questioning. What I'm saying is there's empirical evidence. There is proof that it's not the only thing that's ever happened, and yet it's the only thing that's ever used as an example. And white people fucking love to just like, use it as like,
Honestly, it's,
so many stories have been,
especially in the U.S.
Yeah.
It is. This is my take: is
Yeah.
that it's the time where the U.S. was accidentally did something that saved some lives.
Yeah. Well, it's
It
also
really wasn't.
right.
They were forced into it.
Right.
It wasn't.
And
Remember,
let's
the
say-
U.S. did not enter the
Yes.
Second World War until Pearl Harbor happened.
Yeah.
Until there was an attack on, quote, America,
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. And
We were fine letting Jews and Romani and
correct.
sexual deviants be gas chambered,
Right. Well, that's the thing that I'm saying. Like specifically, I guess I should say specifically Americans use it as such like a and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I don't know, man.
No, it's just because Japan
Yeah.
attacked, and also Hitler was threatening too many U.S. allies in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, whatever. It's so stupid. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. I just don't understand, like, what I'm saying when I say I don't understand, what I mean is I don't relate to, like, I guess it's like the excitement people get over it, like there's like a fetishization of it.
Absolutely.
To the degree of, and on both sides, both on the fascist side and on the quote anti-fascist side, it's a very like fetishization of the events that happen to like real fucking people. Like people will make and watch movies all day fucking long about the fucking Holocaust, and I'm like, I get it.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we need to keep remaking movies about a thing that we know happened. It happened.
Just realized,
I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm embarrassed at how long it took me to have this thought that, like, how disgusting it is.
Yeah.
Just the whole industry of to be Hollywood, and make things about like the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Or, anything since 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as how Hollywood used to make westerns. It's the same shit. Like, you're just gloating.
Yes.
It's so depraved.
Yeah.
It's so depraved to just be like, and we don't see it, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
It's Hollywood. It's not America.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just what we export to all of the world.
Right.
And expect everyone to eat up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I can go, yeah. And it's like, I feel like Quentin Tarantino is a great example of this, where like every movie is just every character, he's a white dude writing characters saying the N-word like every 5 seconds. And then he makes Inglourious Bastards and they kill Hitler, which never actually happened. And everyone's like, oh, it's anti-fascist. And I'm like, is it? It's not. He literally is rewriting history.
Yeah. Well, it's
and then it's just like, wouldn't it be fun
fiction.
if we could have killed Hitler this way instead?
Right.
And that
that formula is all he's done since. I mean,
like that's not really anti-fascist.
Sort of what Death Proof is like.
Yeah. What if
women killed a guy?
What if I hadn't almost killed Uma Thurman?
I mean,
he's a cool guy.
It's my apology. Death Proof is my apology for. I don't know, man.
Anyway,
R.I.P. Shelley Duvall.
Oh man. Yeah, Barton Fink. I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. Cool. It was something that I'm going to enjoy taking screenshots of it.
Hell yeah. Ironically, their first movie without the cinematographer they had worked with previously. He plays the page that has the sign and is ringing the bell.
Barton he was
Fink
there
when he's in the restaurant.
He
had been their cinematographer.
That
on
guy
previous,
had been.
Yeah,
the page boy.
He was not the cinematographer.
No, I get this. I get that. I get that he wasn't the cinematographer, but the person who was previously the cinematographer was the page boy.
Correct.
Not the new guy.
Not the new guy?
Yeah, not the new cinematographer.
Oh, I see. Yes. He didn't work on this movie because he was working on the Addams Family.
Wow.
Movie.
Yeah. That oscillating fan and the paper towel shit will kill me. It's going to be the end of me because I just completely am convinced that it's really great for someone who's experienced hallucinations before.
And home invasions.
Yeah. And had a raccoon fall through the ceiling of the bathroom at one point. That was fun. That was fun times. Would you recommend this movie?
Yes.
Yeah. I definitely would too.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
One thing
I'm a little defensive since we had Floto on and he said his thing about the Coen brothers. But this actually held up better than I thought. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. I think the weakest part is the ending.
I agree. I think one thing that
But you could do a lot worse.
Yeah. I think one thing that that this movie really did that I feel like is an unfortunate thing, not surprising at all. There's only white people in this movie. I don't even know if there's a singular I don't even think there was.
Well, there was Hollywood in the 40s, so
right. I don't know. Right, but he's writing about the common man. So yeah, I don't even know if there was like a background actor that was.
Yeah, I'm trying to
white.
think.
It was like this scene where he's at the dance, and I was like, this is just white people. I was like, holy shit. So that was something that I was like, that's always something that I feel like people. Man, that's one thing about people trying to be historically accurate that I'm like, bro, fuck off. Like, fuck Chris Nolan. Fuck all these people that are
Tim Burton?
Yeah. Yes. Tim Burton, who it's not aesthetic to have people of color.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. God, people are white.
Created film stock, made them impossible to light.
Fucking shithead. Yeah, that's another thing. I hate how, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's not actually, you could actually do such minimal shit to make.
Well, you don't even have that excuse now.
That's what I'm saying. You could, it's so, you're
not dependent upon film.
Well, no, I don't even mean that. I mean, with lighting, all you have to do is just the.
Try?
Yeah, exactly. Just
experiment a little bit.
Have some.
And probably if you're working with an actor of any experience, they will have some ideas.
Anyway, whatever. It is the final film of your birthday month.
Yeah. Let me say, before we do that wrap up.
Yeah.
Visually gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I also watched a little video about how shot, reverse shot, is the common method in films to show dialogue. Where you see a shot is that the person speaking, and then you see the reaction shot.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
line,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's shot, reverse shot.
Yeah.
And the way, and I don't know, it might be this specific cinematographer that is the reason their films do this. A lot of filmmakers do that. It's shot over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Coen Brothers movies, they're inside. So, like, the camera would be where the person is, or, even closer to the speaker or whoever's on the screen, right?
Yeah.
And so that creates this intimacy.
Oh, God.
And the video is, I'll link to it, but they talk about how it's both comedic and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. For sure.
Clearly they love to do. And that it makes movement look bigger because it's so much closer to the lens.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, it was an interesting.
For sure.
And also, the rhythm of their editing is
Yeah.
really highlights the dialogue, adds to the dialogue.
Yeah.
And this movie in particular, no wonder it stuck with me, is just how much attention is given to sound.
Yeah.
I loved every time, it's from Barton's perspective of Charlie coming over from his room. You just hear the...
Yeah.
And you get that, it's that dread. I had a visceral reaction to, oh, God.
Yeah.
And the thing with the bell when he first gets to the hotel, and then it's faded out, and Chet still touch.
Yeah. I do think the ending is kind of its weakest point, but I didn't really like him carrying around the head. I was like, why are we doing that?
Yeah, I know.
I didn't like that.
Well, 7 hadn't come out yet, so.
That's fair.
Speaking of...
We knew what was in this box.
Speaking of Chris Fincher. Also, apparently, Bill Hader tells a story that the first date he ever took a girl on was to see Barton Fink.
Okay.
And that she never spoke to him afterwards.
That's crazy. Yeah, this is the final film in your birthday month. How does it feel to be? How does it feel to be 49?
Not good. It's been so I haven't. We're recording before my actual birthday has occurred. I've already had at least a full month of constant invasive thoughts about my own mortality.
Oh, that's not fun.
It goes back to at least when we watched Velvet Goldmine. So
yeah.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah, this will
49.
air.
I don't recommend it.
This will air 2 days after your 49th birthday.
Send a whiskey.
Yeah. So, show your support to Keith in any way you can.
Yeah.
That will be
show your
most
tits,
likely.
show your ass.
Yeah. Boobies, money,
Boobies,
or
money, booze.
booze. Yeah.
No one writes for free.
Boobies, Bitcoin, boobs. Anyway, no, don't send Bitcoin. I will slice your
Ethereum.
retinas. Yeah. What do you think? Pooper and
What did we start with?
We started with the Paradise, Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh yeah.
And then we did a History of Violence, and then we did
Ghoulies.
Yeah, Critters, and then we did
Not Critters.
and then we did
This one.
Fart and Pink. Also, it was a mistake.
We didn't even talk about Shaloub.
Oh my God, fucking Tony Shaloub. What a
How
looker.
fucking gorgeous is he?
I know, it's upsetting.
Jesus.
And he looks like exactly the same too.
Pretty much.
I'm like, fuck off, man. He's like that. He has like such a jawline. What a jawline. And he's so funny. And he's able to be so funny. And it's annoying. Like, it's thoroughly ridiculous that he's so talented.
His performance in this is just
ridiculous.
one of my favorite parts of it.
He's taken a interest.
Shit. Yeah. No. Fine. Yes. No. Fine.
I love when his secretary or whatever, oh God, just inaudible and mispronouncing his name.
Yeah.
Amazing. Loved it. He just corrects her and takes the phone.
Give me a little breeze.
Is he in for Mr. Giesler?
Geisler. Whoa! How's Lipnick's ass smell this morning? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, all right, listen. Reason I'm calling, got a writer here, Fink. All screwy. Says I'm producing that Wallace Beery wrestling picture. What am I, the goddamn janitor around here? Yeah? Who'd you get that from? Well, tell Lipnick he can kiss my dimpled ass. No, all right. Shit. All right, all right.
I also watched a little short with, it's Brolin, right? That's in No Country. Mm-hmm. He was talking about when they were shooting the scene where he finds the
head
money.
Oh, money. Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, like, shouldn't there be like a little, shouldn't I make some sound like, just a little something like that? And they're like, oh, okay, what else? And so they did several takes of him just trying different sounds right there. And then they went and kept the second thing he did or whatever, and that's what's in the final cut.
Interesting.
He's like, anytime I'm at a screening and Joel, or maybe it was Ethan, I can't remember which, I can figure out where he is in theater because every time I make that sound in the movie, he laughs. He's like, was it always just a joke? Were they always just fucking with me?
That's so funny. That's good.
Because apparently one of their things is that they don't like... I watched an interview where it had Turturro and the Coens talking to Dick Cavett when this movie was out. Mm-hmm. And apparently people say they're really... They don't like to make changes to the script.
Yeah.
And they don't encourage improvisation.
Yeah.
In the actors. And Turturro was like, it's not as fucking authoritarian as it sounds. They let you breathe into the lines, but they just don't want you to change.
Yeah.
Cavett was like, well, I've heard stories of if somebody misses a word, you tell them to go reshoot it, and they're like, if it's an important word. But also they often seemingly start a movie without knowing where it's going. That's kind of how they operate.
That's fun.
Which sounds stressful as an actor, and also this is another reason why I feel like at this point they didn't know how to end the movie.
Yeah.
And it also makes me think that they don't really maybe have a lot to say.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is my least favorite thing.
Yep.
You can still make a movie. I mean, that's the thing. You can do all this. You can put all this cool stuff into it. Mm-hmm. What's it actually saying?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that Barton Fink actually gives us a message that's... If there's a message there, I don't think they intended it.
Yeah.
And in which case, which is worse almost, because then
right.
things you don't intend get read into it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry.
It's okay. What was the stinker and what was the plinker?
Into Violence.
Stinker?
I'm glad I watched it. I mean, It wasn't, Moscow on the Hudson, but...
It's close.
I was hoping it was going to deliver something that it didn't.
Yeah. I think I expected to feel about Barton Fink the way that The End of Violence made me feel. I think I was expecting it to be a little reversed. I was like, I'm not going to probably be... I mean, I think I like Barton Fink better than I thought I was going to like The End of Violence. But, yeah, I was at the end of Violence. I was like, okay, well, okay. And then with Barton Fink, I was like, oh, wow, this is actually doing a lot of work. This is... so aesthetic and so it felt intentional in a lot of the ways that are important. And yeah, I think that like I feel that criticism of it, where if they didn't intend anything for it, then that's not great. But I think you can take.
I mean,
a
there are
lot
things in
from
there
it.
that are clearly intentional.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's clearly shot with a lot of attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm saying is like you can take a lot from it,
Yeah.
and that's.
I mean, it's like,
More than what
there's all the
you-
references to Nebuchadnezzar, and
Yeah.
I don't know what it's doing. He was a king that enslaved a lot of Jews,
Yeah.
or enslaved Judah
Yeah.
in Babylon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you know, there's one of the themes is sort of the rise of anti-Jewish, well, I don't know about the rise, but a lot of anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Semitic tropes are in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The K word is said a lot by Lipnick,
Yeah.
who is a
Yeah.
Jewish character.
Yeah.
At least 3 times he says
Yeah.
it. I think he's the only one, really.
I believe so too. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. I think Critters wasn't quite. Ghoulies wasn't. Thank you. Wasn't quite as. Wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. I was a little
totally
bit
different than what I expected.
A little disappointed.
Yeah.
I think Fan of the Paradise surprised me in ways I wasn't expecting. I think Barton Fink wins out for
Yeah,
me,
I think
which
it was
I'm
the most solid.
surprised about.
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
not expecting. I was like, man, is Fan of the Paradise going to be my favorite one? No, Barton Fink. But also, I was saying that I'd seen the like poster or whatever, the cover for the movie, and I thought it was John Turturro with a swastika on his head for years.
Wild.
But it's a mosquito. It's like the shadow of a mosquito. But yeah.
And also, I never put that together. Like, even though Shaloub's character says it, like, there aren't mosquitoes here.
Yeah. Interesting. Are there not mosquitoes in California?
This is what people say. I remember getting bit by mosquitoes as all through my life. But I mean, not a lot, but
Yeah.
maybe it's when I went other places. But
Yeah.
when I listen to podcasts of people who live in LA, they're like, it didn't happen. Like, it happened in the last 10 years or something because of something got imported from China that
Had mosquitoes.
made it possible for, you know, some kind of specific breed of.
Interesting.
I don't know, though.
Yeah. Anyway. Any last words?
I'll show you the life of the mind. No. I'll show you the life of the mind.
Oh.
Look upon me.
And now please, Mr. Musical, since you've been walking right along while it's think, maybe you better tell me please why you advertise for the services of a girl as I tickle of qualifications. Maybe you could walk a bit slower too.
I want you to take down the words of a tune I've got.
Is that all?
That's about all.
Well then, let's have the words. And I thought this was a permanent job a girl could have.
I haven't got the words, I've only got the tune.
He hasn't got the words. You'll excuse me, but I think you're crazy, Mr. Music Are you sure you got the tune even?
Schindler's List